and welcome to The Week. This is Pooja Biraya, and today we have with us ace director Anubhav Sinha, whose IC-814, The Kandahar Attack, has just released on Netflix. It's a gripping, nuanced thriller, a hostage drama, and it's unputdownable because you would not want to stop it unless you finish the entire thing, which is what happened with me. So, congratulations, sir, on the release of the series.
Thank you.
Tell us, why did you want to tell this story? First of all, let's start from there. What was the motivation?
I think I share half the credit or onus of this decision of telling this story. So this was initially decided by Sarita Patil of Matchbox Pictures and Monica and her team at Netflix.
Right.
And I was not on board at the time.
Okay.
So they worked on it for 2 years. They were trying to do a series entirely based on the book by the captain.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so they developed the script, and Monica reached out to me and she said, I want you to direct it. And then I read the script, and when I was reading the script, I was, as a viewer,
Yeah.
every 4 pages, every 6 pages, I was intrigued that, what's going on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought it will be very interesting to tell the audience as to what went on.
You were visualizing it also.
Yeah, I was imagining.
Yeah.
I was thinking, who's trying to save me?
Yeah.
Is anybody? Do people know? How many people know? Is it on the news or not?
Yeah.
And why? Where am I going? Why am I going to Kandahar? What is Kandahar?
Yeah.
Because at that time, Kandahar was not this popular, or at least well-known place in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I read it and I went back to Monica and I said, I really like the idea, but I would like to expand it further outside of the aircraft.
Right. Right.
So she said, okay, do what you have to, what you want to. And then I told her that this would mean a rewrite, complete rewrite. And they were okay with that. So that's when I signed up. And then a whole lot of research happened, and I was on my way to office. I was talking to Basharat Peer, my friend. I called him. I said, I need to find a journalist who was working at the time and who could give me insights into things that nobody knows. And he started thinking. I remember he was in Srinagar and I was, I think, in Lisbon. And so he said, like who? So we started throwing names at each other. And I said, maybe someone like Adrian Levy.
Okay.
And he said, why not Adrian Levy himself? I said, I don't know him. He said, I do. And within 15 minutes, I was on a call with Adrian. And Adrian came on board. And Adrian is an eminent, those who don't know, is an eminent journalist and an author and a filmmaker now, who's worked extensively on South Asia, the geopolitical situations over decades.
Period of time, yeah.
So he was kind enough to come on board, and that's when it started taking shape. Me, Trishant, the writer, and Adrian, we met in London, several meetings, and that's when it started taking the shape it has now.
Right, and it's a very tightly scripted series. What were the things that you had to avoid in order to really put in what you needed? Because it's sometimes you kind of just tend to go overboard or digress also. So tell us.
So there are two things. One thing, that I was constantly very aware of my own political presence in the series. I didn't want to be present. I didn't want to have my own political views in the storytelling, because then it's like asking the audience to subscribe to my opinion.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I didn't want to do that. I wanted to tell it the way it was. And then people can have their opinions and about people, about situations, about decisions. And I was trying to do my best to find out exactly what happened in those rooms. And most of those rooms have no records, but I spoke to people, and then there were news reports, and then there was some personal information, and spoke to various journalists besides Adrian, various journalists in Bombay, in Delhi, in India, and that's where this entire and the other thing was I have done television long back,
Yeah, yeah,
and 27 years back,
yeah,
and there is a separate grammar of television
yeah,
which is slightly different from films, at least the grammar of the screenplay and editing. And so I went back to that understanding a bit, and that's where it comes from.
yeah. This is also your very unique style. I think in your previous works also, Bheed, there would be Thappad, there is Article 15, others. The narrative is a very gripping one, very pointed, sharp, no nonsense. I think in this particular series, was there any, because all of you all were together, you were not only yourself. So, did you have was there a challenge of staying true to the story without being political, or was there a challenge to be neutral, as you said that?
It was not a challenge at all. It
Hmm.
was just a constant awareness
Right.
that I do have a political mind and I
Yeah.
do have opinions,
Yeah.
and I had to be aware of it, and I
Yeah.
had to make sure that that was not stepping in way of telling a historical event.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I was cautious. That's all.
Right, right. Uh, the cast is as important as is the plot and the narrative and the script. How did it was commendable, seriously, all of them fine actors, brilliant performances. You really can relate from one to the other. Tell us about the cast. How did you all come to finalize who would be there? And yeah,
The
I
casting
mean,
actually starts taking shape in my case
yeah,
when I'm writing.
yeah.
So in the
Okay, you
right,
already keep
yeah,
thinking
when
about,
in the
okay,
writing room, when
okay,
as soon as a character starts becoming
yeah,
important,
yeah,
me and the writer,
yeah,
co-writer,
yeah,
we start talking of a name because it also helps us to put a face at that point
yeah,
to the name,
yeah,
to
to
visualize
correct, true, yeah,
further.
yeah, yeah, okay,
And a lot of times you don't end up casting those people, but you do attach a name to the character.
right,
And in this case, I don't know. I think the credit goes to the universe that anybody that we spoke of, Trishant and I, anybody we ever dreamt of is there in the series. So there is no second choice casting in the series.
and so Vijay was also there. Was
Yeah,
he the was
Vijay
his
was one of the
mind?
first ones to be on board.
Right.
Vijay and Arvind were the first two.
No, but you thought of him while you were making the
Yeah.
character
Much
sketch.
no, no. Even before we started seriously writing, I met Vijay and I spoke to him, and I thought he would, we'll send him the script and then he'll read it and then he will decide whether he wanted to participate or not. But he was very kind,
You had
and
seen his previous works. That is
yes,
how
yes.
you.
I had met him
Okay.
also once,
Okay.
long back,
Okay.
and I was aware of his work,
Okay.
especially Gully Boys.
Yeah.
And so he was very kind, and without reading the script because it wasn't written yet,
Yeah.
he agreed to be a part of it. And likewise for Arvind. In fact, I didn't even meet Arvind. I spoke to him on the phone, and I think I described to him in about 15 minutes over the phone what I was trying to do
Right.
and the part I wanted him to play. And without reading the script, he was on board too. So these two people were cast first,
Right.
and
Okay.
then as it panned out.
Yeah, yeah. Any reference materials, of course, other than speaking to journalists and really doing the research, any reference? What I'm asking is like, you know, the kind of content that has been made previously. So, any
Yeah,
reference material from,
yeah, you always do that.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
when I was writing Article 15, I was
yeah,
watching Mississippi burning all the time. I must have seen it 15 times. And for this, I must have seen a lot of. Hollywood has done this genre very well. America specifically
Yes.
has done this genre very well.
Yes.
And I must have seen, I don't remember which all, but I must have seen a lot of shows and films that dealt with a political situation being handled by people from different quarters. I must have. I'm sorry, I don't remember the names yet right
Right.
now.
Right. So, how much time did it take for the entire thing to come together, from the time of conceptualizing to, it coming out to as a
So before it came to me, they had put in 2 years.
okay.
Then we went into a rewrite, and I think this was June 2022, May or June 2022, that we decided to rewrite and yeah, so it's been 2 years, a little
Right.
over 2 years.
Right, right. But this could have been a movie as well. But then you would have to make it like much more
Yeah,
crisper
that's
and
the reason. I mean, one, it
yeah.
came to me as a mini series idea,
Acha, it
and
came to you like that.
yeah,
Okay.
and then honestly,
Yeah,
I don't think we
Netflix.
ever considered. We the only length issue that Trishant and I ever considered was how many episodes, 6 or 5 or 7 or 8 or 4, and it just landed perfectly in 6 episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
So
True,
we made
yeah.
it six.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
10 and
yeah,
all, 10, 12 episodes would have been
maybe, but
much
yeah,
more.
we
Yeah,
had more information and material, but I don't think uh, this episode uh, of our history will will hold enough attention for more than 6 episodes.
right, right. So this has occupied all your time, taken all your time since, I
Yes,
mean,
yes, I have not managed to write my next films. Now I have, since I finished shooting last July and July or August. Otherwise, I normally have 3 or 4 feature scripts.
that
Uh,
you're working on simultaneously.
yeah, I do end up having a lot of scripts with me, but this time, because of these 2 years, uh, I suddenly was out of work once I finished shooting. So then I started writing,
Right,
and now we are back to having
right.
4 scripts, and this time also a newer version of me that I have found, which
Yeah,
is
okay. Tell us more. What is
it's
it?
more
Is
it's
it
more relying on leaning on big screen.
okay?
It's more commercial than the recent
Yeah, the kind of films
films.
that you do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's more commercial. They are bigger films, and
okay,
some are really very big.
okay. Like a
And
period drama kind of a thing?
no, not yet. I
Okay,
want to do a period drama, the real
okay,
period piece at some point in my career,
okay.
but not yet. But these are thrillers, and these are uh, high value visual effects films. And
But this is unlike you.
no, why?
I mean, in the recent past, it's been unlike you.
Yeah, but that's the reason why I thought. I was also looking at other big films, and I was
Okay.
thinking, oh, I can do this too, because I started like that. So, like whether it's music or it's visual effects or action, I haven't dabbled with it for a long time, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
used
it
to
is.
do
Yeah,
this
true,
rather fine.
true.
And so I thought, let's bring those elements back into your stories
Yeah,
and design them in a manner that they become big screen experiences. So the next inning of my films would be more entertaining, more
right.
fun, bigger,
Yeah,
and yeah,
yeah,
spectacular, and music
right.
and action and VFX.
Nice. Do you have a name? Do you have a
Mm,
title for the films to
no,
share with us?
not yet, not yet.
Okay, no specifics right now.
No, no, I do have everything,
Okay,
but it's too early to
you
talk about it.
okay, okay. Also, since you're saying that it's gonna be cinematic, but do you see that we are, we have the audiences want to go back to the theaters the way they were doing before pre-pandemic? I mean, have
They're
we
going
gotten
back.
back to it
They're
now?
getting back every now and
Yeah,
then,
but
and
the cinema
it's
business
not
is
it's
how
not
is it
even
doing?
dependent on what the popular, more lame opinion ascribes to. कि भाई वो they're going to watch only big films in theaters. No, but they are also going to watch 12th Fail in theaters, and
Right.
uh, so. They're going to watch. Even I have not been able to pinpoint a pattern there.
Yeah, yeah,
But every now and then they are
yeah,
going to theaters in big numbers, and going to theaters is a cultural, socio-cultural activity in our society,
yeah, yeah.
and I don't think that's going to go anywhere. It's going to be here. It's a time.
Right. Yeah.
It's some sort of a economic,
Yeah.
political, social times in the society.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of attempt to try to lure the cinema goer to get back to the theaters. Like there are a lot of films that are being re-released. What do you think about that? Many films are
I
being
think
re-released.
uh, the industry should keep reinventing itself. So this
Yeah.
is a part of reinvention,
Yeah.
and I also believe that the film industry as a industry
Yeah.
needs a little more support from the governments.
Okay.
And every time I use the word governments, people like to believe that I am talking about the present government. But governments at large have done precious little
Right.
about the film industry.
Right.
And I'm repeating, I'm talking about all the
Of course, the
governments so far.
authorities basically. Yeah.
So I think, I don't know if uh, the GST of our cinema tickets is something to look at.
Right.
I don't know how much, what is the quantum of the GST that the government accrues out of film tickets.
Right.
Suppose that
So there
goes
should be
away.
more transparency.
No, no, no,
They
no, no,
should
not
be.
transparency.
Yeah.
Maybe the government should reconsider having GST
At
on film
all.
tickets.
Correct.
Maybe that will
Yeah.
support the industry in a very big way. And
Big way. Right.
you know, looking at the sizes of industries,
Yeah.
the entertainment industry is very small. So I don't know in terms of the total revenue it creates,
Right.
and I don't think the quantity of the GST that the government accrues out of the GST
Yeah.
will be very large.
Right.
But it can have a really large help to the
Help.
industry.
Right. Correct.
So
True.
these things, this is
Yeah.
one, and
Yeah.
I'm
Any
not,
2 or 3 more points that
I
you want to
know
point out?
I'm no economist, but
Yeah.
these are things I think the industry also needs help
Right.
from the governments,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
They
I
are
hope all
going
that
through a rough
happens.
phase now.
Actually, a lot of industries are going through a rough phase,
Yeah.
and not only in India, worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every time that happens, the industries have to come together, and the
Correct.
governments
As a
come
unit.
together,
Yeah.
and then they, understand where the loopholes are, and they
True.
sort it, and they recover. And I'm certain that will happen here too.
Right, right. So, what does it take to really interest you? You know, what kind of scripts really interest you? In that sense, how do you pick and choose your script? Where do you find the, ideas from? That's what I want to know.
It's too many things. It's like, 6 friends are sitting in a room, and somebody asks, "I'm ordering lunch. What do you want to have?" So somebody says, "I want to have Indian. I want to have Italian. I want to have Chinese," and you cannot put logic to it.
Yeah,
Suddenly
true.
something, and I'm sure there are scientific and logical reasons behind the choice,
Right,
but I have never really bothered to go into that. I just get attracted to either a character or a story or a situation, and
right,
I go ahead and do it. It's
right.
not, I don't know the logic of it.
So it's intuitive. Let's call it
I
that.
think, yeah, it's intuitive.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
It's a reflex.
It's a reflex. What was the last thing that you watched, other than, of course, the series that you made? Yeah, last thing you binge watched, and the last film that you watched.
I'm very scared of watching series, because a lot of times the series that you choose to watch is binge worthy, and sometimes you don't have those 6 hours. So if I start one, then I'm doomed.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I saw a series. I saw The Angry Young Man. It was very nice. But the last film that I have seen is The Zone of Interest.
Okay.
Okay. That is an awesome film, and I was looking forward to watching it.
So when do you make time to watch at leisure? Like, is it also in the night, like most of us do?
No. I like to believe that I like to sleep early.
Okay.
So, but there are days when you get free from the office sooner than other days, and then you go and watch a film. Otherwise, I try to not come to work on Saturdays. So then I get a 2-day weekend, and that's the time mostly when the most viewing happens and reading happens.
Right. Any performance that you would like to speak of in the recent times? Any movie, a Bollywood movie that you must have seen and you really appreciated any particular performance, particular actor, actress, or
I
director, whatever?
haven't watched much recently, but the last performance that blew my mind was Rajkumar Rao in Shrikant.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think he was
Yeah.
outstanding.
That is outstanding. On that note, sir, thank you so much for talking to the week. It was such a pleasure. Thank you once
Thank
again.
you. Thank you.